Within this video, we will explain you about the page that takes you for the routing. So if we go to the routing page, we can see that we have certain routes in here. We can see that they are connected to certain incomings and outgoing configurations. You can also click on those and take you to the incoming and outgoing configuration. You can search by them, for example, saying we want to see only the ones that are connected to Odoo, and then we get those. We can also select that on specific incomings or outgoings, or do any kind of filtering based on like created at, updated at. And we also are able to create a new one in this page. So let's say we create a new one, then it will take us to the page where we can define the name of our route. We can define a description if you would like to. We can define what kind of incoming configurations or incoming configuration we would like to talk to, and what kind of outgoing configuration. We also have the possibilities of adding as many entity transformers as we would like here. We can also say that we would like to actively retry if a task fails. So for example, if a task fails, we would like to say we want to attempt it 5 more times with an interval of 10 minutes to actually have that task being able to send through again. This will, of course, only send it through if a task would be failed or skipped. You can choose whether you would like to use one of those two scenarios, and therefore also then retry it. This could be based on, for example, that a system is down or has a slight hiccup, cannot process the information that way, and therefore you would resend the information. However, a thing I would like to mention there is, let's say if there is a human error of human data input on the data itself, and therefore that is wrong. For example, a very simple example could be that the zip code that is on system A is not so strict, and on system B it is very strict. Therefore, a zip code might be filled in incorrectly. Then it will also retry a 5 amount of times of trying to get a zip code through that is incorrect. So that is not necessarily wrong, but it's something to keep in mind, that if you retry task multiple times, that you might also get multiple errors of actually doing something that was a human input error rather than a system being down error. Then we can also enable real-time processing, and that is that data that comes in is not a new task, but is right away a processing task. So you don't have to run the route, you only have to run the incoming configuration to run both the incoming configuration and the route together. From here, once we save this, if we fill in something, test demo, and I think I have to put at least something in here, otherwise I'm not allowed to save it. I will save that. Other things we can see here is, for example, the logging, so that it can see like, okay, what kind of information came through at which moment. Let's actually take a task or a route that already has some information in there. We can see here within the logs that we can go back on like, okay, what was happening when it was sent out. These are the outgoing configuration logs actually. So it's based on, it is on the location of the routing, but this is when it's sent out, what kind of logging happened to that part. We can also see if it's connected to any of the scheduled jobs. In this case, it's not connecting to any. And we can also see add alerting here. So adding alerting would be, for example, wanting to have emails if a specific task was failed, then we want to have certain email alerting to specific people. How this works with the interval and the minutes is that the first time something goes wrong, you will get an email. The second time it will group it by the amount of that the group number is set in with the interval of the minutes, so you don't get like overly spammed if a lot of things go wrong around the same time at that moment. Other things we have over here is the possibility to export it, to duplicate it, or to delete it, and of course to run the route if we want to send out the information. In the case of a export or a duplication, we will actually, in the case of a duplication, we can make the route and we can say, for example, a version 2.0 and then the same name of the route once more. And we get all of the integrations that way. Again, or all of the routing configurations the same way as it was set up for the previous one before. In the case of an export, it will actually create a JSON file which you can open and then import it through the API. So that is everything that there is to show about the routes and the configurations in there.